You currently work with the state police?
Yes.
Okay. And your current rank, please?
Sergeant.
How long have you been a sergeant with the Connecticut State Police?
Approximately 2 years.
Thank you. Could you please describe some of your training and experience with the state police?
Yes, I was hired in 2008. At the time I attended the State Police Academy. I have received extensive training throughout the course of the academy, as well as outside institutions, to include interview, crime scene processing, scene mapping, photography, evidence collection, blood pattern analysis, various other things.
Are you with a particular division or department within the Connecticut State Police?
Yes, Western District Major Crime.
Okay. And do you specialize in any, a specific part of major crimes?
Yes, I'm currently the supervisor of the crime scene van.
When you say crime scene van, can you just briefly explain what that is?
Yes, each district is assigned a van unit, which is comprised of detectives that is responsible for processing crime scenes, to include scene documentation, photography and such, as well as analysis, interpretation.
And you are currently the sergeant for Western District?
Yes.
In 2019, what was your role?
I was a detective within the same crime scene van unit.
How long have you been working in the van unit total?
I began in 2018 as a detective and then assumed command upon promotion.
And which was when?
2021.
Thank you. I'm going to draw your attention specifically back to that May 2019 timeframe. Did you have an occasion to respond to 69 Wells Lane in New Canaan?
Yes.
Do you recall when you responded?
I responded on the 27th.
Was that the first time that you responded there?
It was.
Okay, so you did not go on the 24th or 25th?
No.
Okay. What was or why did you respond there?
I was tasked with producing a scene map as the continuation of scene processing was extended to the 27th.
Was anyone from New Canaan Police Department on scene when you arrived?
Yes, there was a marked cruiser securing the scene.
And who else from the Connecticut State Police was on scene with you?
Myself, Lieutenant Colonel Davison, Detective Riley, Detective Hazen, Detective McGavin. I believe that was it.
And you mentioned a sketch map. Is that what could you just explain what that is?
Yes, we take measurements from the scene to produce a map which would depict spaces, whether it's size of a building or the room, the crime scene in question, as well as evidence in its relation to the scene.
In this case, what did you mean by scene?
I was tasked with mapping the garage of 69 Wells Lane.
What's the purpose of a sketch map?
We want to memorialize the location of evidence, as well as other items. It could be furniture or things of interest, things of value.
And you mentioned a few names of individuals who were with you. In the course of going through the garage, or what were their assignments?
Lieutenant Colonel Davison was called in to assist with the blood pattern analysis. Sergeant McGavin was the scene officer, so he produced a scene report. Detective Riley was responsible for evidence collection, and Detective Hazen took photographs.
And you mentioned a blood pattern analysis. What is that?
It's when the blood presented is analyzed and interpreted.
Are you trained in blood pattern analysis?
Yes.
Is that in any way connected to reconstruction of a crime scene?
I am not trained to the same level as others. I have a basic understanding and knowledge of blood stain.
You did not conduct the blood pattern analysis in this case, did you?
I did not.
Okay, who did?
Lieutenant Colonel Davison.
Now, have you worked with Lieutenant Colonel Davison previously?
Yes.
About how often?
I began on patrol in 2008 with at the time, Trooper Davison, but I've known him throughout my entire career, and when I joined Major Crime in 2013, he was in the unit, and we worked together throughout that tenure.
Now, in the course of creating a sketch map, are there certain steps you take?
Yes.
Could you just walk through some of those steps that you do?
Once the items are items of evidentiary value, I should say, once they are identified, I produce field notes where I am measuring them in to the scene and memorializing it in a note pattern. I then take the notes and put it into a report and produce a actual map utilizing Easy Street Draw, which is the program.
What types of tools do you use when you create the sketch map?
Various things. In this case, I used a laser distance measurer as well as a steel measuring tape.
If I can, Your Honor, states 8, I believe, is a full exhibit. No objection?
That's correct, no objection.
States 8 will be admitted as a full exhibit.
If I may just have 1 minute to sign in, Your Honor. May I inquire, Your Honor, and of the clerk, if the televisions are on?
No.
May I just have a moment, Your Honor?
They're on there.
No, there's. Yes, Your Honor. Sergeant Pearson, if you can please take a look at what is conveyed on the screen behind you. And if I may, this is states 8, picture 1, which is actually a PDF. And Your Honor, I will say this is with respect to Sergeant Pearson, I have to alternate between PDFs and photographs, so it might not go as smoothly as I hope. With respect to what's behind you, Sergeant, if you can do you recognize that?
Yes.
What is it?
That is the first map of 8, which is an overall of the garage located at 69 Wells Lane. Now,
you talked a little bit about taking measurements and utilizing a ruler and a tape measure, I guess. Is that a way to say it? Thank you. Can you walk us through, perhaps explain how you use those tools to create this map?
Yes, in this case, I used a rectangular coordinate method, which is the method where you have 2 steel tapes on the ground in this instance, and they intersect at a right angle to determine a distance from 2 known points. In this case, it was the footings of the poured cement garage floor.
Would you mind, please, Your Honor, may I ask her to go up to the screen and point? Thank you. Sergeant Pearson, can you please head on up? When you say the footings, what do you mean?
Around the perimeter, there's approximately 3 1/4 inches of cement that protrudes to the interior of the sheetrock walls.
And do you have a marking next to that and you have an arrow directing it? This is in the, I guess, the bottom middle of the PDF. And a number on the top says 3.25. What does that mean?
That's the approximate measurement of that protrusion of cement.
Okay. Could you please explain on the, I guess, working your way from left to right, if you could just explain some of the markings. You have A, B, C. What is that?
So these were evidentiary zones that allowed us to segment the garage into a more workable space. And then I was able to take measurements from each evidentiary zone and elaborate or blow it up into a larger map.
With respect to the, I guess, zone G, why is that in the middle, or why is that depicted like that?
So G contained a vehicle at the time of processing, and we mapped G with the Range Rover in place as found by detectives.
And DEF?
Same as A, B, and C, it was in the southernmost garage bay. It was split into 3 evidentiary zones.
On the upper right side, or I'm sorry, not even upper right side, but on the right side, there is an arrow that has a number. I think it's 21, starting with 21. Can you just explain what that is?
Yep, so this is the interior dimension from wall to wall, which would be east-west in a measurement of 21 feet 1 inch.
Did you measure from, I guess it would be north-south as well?
I did, so from north to south, footing to footing, the interior measurement was approximately 33 feet and 11 inches.
Now, you also have writing on the left-hand side, and I'm putting my cursor on it over here. What does this mean?
This is part of our map legend, which is generally included in every map that we produce, and it includes the case number, the date, the type of case, the location. My name.
I'm not going to argue a supremacy clause issue. As far as I'm concerned, this court is more important than whatever is going on.
Oh, I
in federal
completely
court.
agree with counsel on that one. I just wanted to inform the court that I do know Detective Riley is very much wanted in multiple courts.
Well, let's just see how things develop for Tuesday. Thank you. Detective, you can, sorry, Sergeant, you can step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the jury has been excused. They've been told to pay attention to the judicial website for Tuesday. And we'll stand adjourned today.
All rise. This honorable spirit court now stands adjourned until Tuesday, January 6th.